Hey, what is up, guys? Tato Khatebe here, back again. I hope you guys are doing well. Happy Spring Day to everybody that's in South Africa. Not Spring Day, it's Spring Month. The 1st of September was a couple of days ago, so it's getting a bit hotter again. So hopefully you guys are having a great time and you're enjoying yourselves. Okay, so for today, I just wanted to, I'm gonna be testing out a new setting technique that I haven't tried before. It's called flush setting. So basically I'm going to be making a ring that has stones set into it. And the technique that I'll be using, as I said, is called flush setting. And I wanted to use the whiteboard behind me to demonstrate how flush setting works. And then after doing that, we'll then get onto the bench and then proceed to making the ring based on what I have discussed on the board. So when we talk about flush setting, we're basically referring to a piece that has a stone set into it, but that stone is held together by the metal around it. It doesn't have any claws. You know how usually when you have any sort of jewelry that you've seen that has claws in it, those claws are the things that are holding the stone together. So for example, a normal, that's claw number 1, claw number 2, claw number 3, and then the 4th claw behind there. And let's just say the stone is sitting in there. So what the claws will then do is you'll push these claws down and then it basically holds the stone in place. Whereas with flush setting, there aren't any claws. You're basically just using the metal around the piece to be able to hold the stone. So it's something new that I have never tried before. And I thought this would be a perfect opportunity for me to try it and of course show you guys how it goes. So basically just the main principle of what I mean is, if we're going to be looking at a piece, so I'm just going to pretend that that's just the side of the stone, like a cross section of the stone. What happens is you're going to drill a hole that is, let's say, 1/3 of the size of the stone. So in this case, I've got one 3mm stone in the center, and I've got, I think it's about 16 1.5mm stones that go around it. What I'm going to do is, in this case, let's start with the center stone. So I'll drill a 1mm hole going down. There's a hole cut into it like that. And then I will I'm gonna go straight to the 3mm, but I think maybe if you wanted to, you could maybe do a 2mm ball burr. Actually, no, let's do it the proper way. So I'll use a 2mm ball burr, and what the ball burr will do is it'll cut into the piece like that. And then I will proceed to go over to the 3mm ball burr to make the hole even bigger. And it basically looks like that. Now I'm busy talking about burrs and stuff like that, and you probably don't know what I'm talking about. So just for references, when I talk about a ball burr, it's basically a tool that is shaped like this. So this tool has, the bottom of the tool is round, it's spherical, so it looks like a ball, and it's used to cut out metal that requires a round indent into it. So what the ball burr does, it'll then go in there. So for instance, the ball burr then basically fits in there. And what does it do? It cuts away at the metal so that you are left with that round indent on the inside of the piece. Okay? But that's not all we're going to do. If you can imagine what a stone looks like, a faceted diamond, it basically looks like that, right? So there are points at the end. This is known as the girdle. We got our table, we got our girdle, we got our cullet, we got our pavilion, we've got our crown. Okay, if I'm just going to use the ball burr and end it there and then put the stone on the inside, what you'll end up finding is something that looks like that. Although the stone is now sitting inside, can you see where the ball burr has now cut away? There's this gap, the part where I'm now coloring in red. That's basically open space. And the stone, yes, the stone is sitting nicely in there, but it's not as secure as it could be. So the next step after using the ball burr, we're gonna move over to our setting burr. Now what the setting burr looks like, so it's got that, so this part is the part that goes inside your pendant motor. It's shaped like that with its teeth. All of these are the teeth. So yeah, even there, I forgot to say, so all of this are the teeth. So when it spins in the pendant motor, it basically cuts away. So what you're basically seeing now is we're going to take a setting burr and we're going to use that after having used the ball burr. So now we've opened it up to the size we wanted to. What the setting burr is going to do is it's going to then neaten out the edges so that the stone can sit nicely, because the stone is faceted. It's geometric shapes. It's not organic. What the setting burr is going to do is it's going to then cut away. So it's going to do that. It's going to just straighten everything out so that what you're left with is a nice straight angled cavity or space for your stone to sit in. So now it means once your stone now sits inside there, can you see it's going to sit nice and flush up against where the setting burr has now created the space. Now, important thing, as I mentioned, the ball burr, the last ball burr you're going to use and the last setting burr you're going to use are going to be the same size as your stone. So in this case, I've got a 3mm ball setting burr and I've got a 3mm ball burr. So now once the stone is in, I am able to then push the metal down using my burnisher. So you can see there's that little gap there. Can you see how there are these two little gaps at the top there? So the stone is in and it's sitting nice and flush with the rest of the piece. That gap is what I'm going to use with my burnisher. I'm going to push the metal around it and push the metal so that it basically sits. It basically will rest on the crown of the stone after being pushed, so that it holds the stone in place. When I talk about a burnisher, it is basically, I'm going to be making my own burnisher. So I'll actually do a separate video of how I make the burnisher so that you guys can see how that is done. But basically what a burnisher is, it's just a tool. The whole point of a burnisher is the tip of it. So this is steel. It's been rounded at the bottom of it, at the point of it, and you make it nice and smooth and shiny. But it mustn't be sharp, because this part, the bottom part of it, is what's going to be used for the top of the stone to push the metal around. So if I draw this from the top, then this is the top view of my piece, right? And I've drilled my hole and I've got my stone set on the inside. What the burnisher then does, I'll take the burnisher and from the top, I'm going to just push against the metal. I'm going to push against the metal just outside where the stone is. And I'm going to be going around in a circular motion. And then what happens is, as I'm going around in the circular motion, the metal then pushes up against the stone, keeping it in place. Once the stone is kept in place, I'm going to test it from underneath. So I'm going to take maybe a drill bit and I'm going to go from the back and just basically poke on the inside to see if the stone is going to pop out. If the stone doesn't pop out, it means that it has then been set successfully. So this is what I'm going to be attempting to do for, it's about 16 stones. So it's going to be a center 3mm stone, and I'm going to have 15 stones kind of going all the way around it, which are all going to be flash sets. That's just the theory behind it. You know me, I'm a very practical guy. I don't just talk theory. We have to do the thing in practice. So if that's something that sounds very interesting to you, please do stick around, and I hope you enjoy the video.